Wow, you look like a junkie, dude. If you get any of that crystal A, we're down. It's way better than Stavros' weed. They say it's some kind of chemical junk that hooks right up to a gland in your brain and sends you into a zillion dimensions.
Walking simulators are a pretty new and exciting genre when it comes to game design and ways to tell a story. Anyone can create a game these days, but not everyone can tell a story. Californium is kind of a series of short stories that wrap up all one story together. This is Shawnee Maurice from Hihu, and in this video we're going to be looking at a walking sim made by Daji Ling and Nova Productions called Californium, which was released back in early 2016. The game has you play a writer and explore several realities that the writer exists within. Each reality has its own twist and period to it as well. Inspired by the works of Phillip K Dick, each reality will see science fiction with political undertones, or the other way around depending on what reality you're in. As the stories are fairly simple, I'm only going to briefly talk about it and not give too much away as it's quite a short experience. But one reality, you're a drugged up writer who is really struggling and loses his wife and daughter because of his own depression and drug habits. In this other reality, you are a renowned writer for writing these books on Abe Lincoln, but it's also in this society that's kind of ultra conservative and somewhat totalitarian. In that reality, your ex-wife is also being hunted for treason. The last reality set in the future in a mostly robotic world, and the humans kind of live underground and they revolt against the robotic government. But the story isn't really that deep. Only maybe 8 to 10 times on each map will you actually talk to individuals that will delve into the story. Each map is on the same street, repeated again and again, and it's safe to say that every reality you visit basically gets more manic in its own subtle way. The main storytelling device, though, is within the world that you explore, from propaganda posters on the wall to the art deco in a diner. If we're going to be talking about the visuals telling the story, we may as well talk about the overall aesthetics, and they are pretty sweet. This game, for some reason, has heavily reminded me of jazz punk, but the overall game just looks really, really nice. Each reality has its own distinct feel and color palette to it as well, but the big thing that really stood out for me was the Cutout Npcs. There was such a nice, creepy change of pace for me. The way that they were static and constantly would be facing me from afar, yet so much detail would be put into their cartoony design. I really loved it. It reminded me of NPCs that you would come across in old point-and-click adventure games, but to see it in this first-person walking sim was really welcomed. The characters in each reality are alterations of each other. Don, for example, is someone that you come across in each reality and he plays a different role, and I really liked that. The voice acting for an overly small project was actually not too bad. The narrator also reminded me of the Stanley Parable, especially towards the end. Californium is a hidden object walking simulator, so whilst you're walking around exploring the reality that you exist at that point in time, each building in that reality will have several anomalies. And when you find an anomaly, a logo very similar to the Motorola logo will pop up and change and blend the two different realities together. The gameplay is simple but does the trick to push the game along. By the way, the whole jumping through realities is nothing like BioShock Infinite, so don't go expecting anything crazy trippy like that. The overall game goes for around 2-something hours, depending on how you explore, and sells for $10 currently on Steam. And whilst I did enjoy my experience with Californium, the experience I can say is worth about 5. Having played several walking sims, I just can't justify that price. Whilst the game isn't bad at all, and the art style and storytelling is unique, the overall experience left me wanting more. Maybe one more reality would have tied everything up and made everything feel complete for me. You can play games like Gone Home, and by the time you reach the attic, I personally felt like the story had been told to me and I was satisfied. And when I played the beginner's guide and you're on that final level and you're reading that personally written message within that level, it all came unraveling to me. However, Californium is more of a piece of art with some subtle philosophy and intrigue, and maybe my stay in each reality was too short to absorb it all. I don't know, but just one more reality taken to ultra extremities may have done it for me. Maybe I'm just too greedy, I don't know. The game has such a wonderful art style and a really nice and unique way to tell a story that I haven't really seen in walking simulators today. If you're into game design or storytelling, or just anything by the works of Phillip K Dick, I can recommend you pick up this game. It's a short but sweet experience. If you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, hit the like and sub button. This is Shawnee Maurice from Hihu. Thanks for watching.